The foretold flames of World War III for centuries. Humanity has been haunted by visions of a final, catastrophic war, one that could wipe out civilizations, shift borders, and rewrite the destiny of mankind. Long before the concept of world wars existed, sages, mystics, religious figures, and philosophers warned of a future so grim that even imagining it stirred dread. Now, in an age of advanced weaponry, global tensions, and ideological divides, those prophecies are being revisited. With fresh urgency, could World War III already have been foreseen by those who came before us? Religious texts have long been at the heart of such discussions. The Bible's book of Revelation is arguably one of the most widely cited sources in this regard, describing a war between good and evil culminating in Armageddon. It paints a picture of a world filled with war, famine, disease, and destruction. For many Christian scholars, this isn't just metaphor, it is a roadmap of events yet to unfold. Nation will rise against nation, says Matthew 24-7, and kingdom against kingdom. Though written nearly 2,000 years ago, these lines feel eerily relevant in the age of global military alliances and conflicts over territory. Ideology and resources, Islamic traditions, too, carry detailed references to a massive end times conflict. The term al-Muhammad al-Kubra, or the Great Battle, appears in various hadiths and is believed to precede the coming of the Mahdi and the return of Jesus Isa. According to Islamic eschatology, this war will be so severe that birds flying over the battlefield will fall dead from the toxic air, and the number of casualties will be so high that only a few will survive. What's compelling is how some modern interpreters associate this prophecy with a possible nuclear war, something inconceivable during the time these hadiths were recorded. The mention of fire from the skies, mountains of smoke, and devastated cities aligns closely with the imagery of nuclear holocaust. Beyond religion, mystics have also left behind clues. Nostradamus, the enigmatic 16th century French seer, remains the most referenced name in the realm of prophecy. His quatrain-scriptic four-line verses have been interpreted to foretell everything from the rise of Napoleon to the assassination of John F. Kennedy. But it's his predictions about a great war in the 21st century that have stirred the most fear, he writes. Twice put up and twice cast down, the East will weaken the West after great strife. A greater war will break out. Many interpret these lines as referencing the world wars, followed by a yet-to-come World War III between Eastern and Western powers. One quatrain in particular stands out. In the year 1999 and 7 months from the sky shall come a great king of terror. Though 1999 came and went without such a catastrophe, some argue that Nostradamus used symbolic timelines and that this king of terror could refer to something beyond a physical being, perhaps an AI, a virus, or a powerful leader emerging from chaos. Others believe that Nostradamus was pointing toward an ideological war that spans decades, finally culminating in a third world war. Another popular prophet is Baba Vanga, the blind mystic from Bulgaria. Born in 1911, she reportedly predicted the sinking of the Russian submarine Kursk, the 9/11 attacks, and the rise of ISIS. She also spoke of a major war beginning in the Middle East, gradually consuming Europe and then the world. According to her, the war would last years, involve nuclear weapons, and cause widespread devastation. Interestingly, she claimed that the war would begin after the fall of Syria. She didn't specify the exact year. Her statements led many to worry during the Syrian civil war that it might be the match that lights the fire. Let's now look at Hindu scripture. The Mahabharata, one of the oldest epics in human history, contains descriptions of a war involving celestial weapons and mass destruction. Some modern theorists and spiritual researchers suggest that what is described may not be mythology, but a historical nuclear war. The Vishnu Purana and Bhavishya Purana also speak of an age of darkness, Kali-yuga ending with a great war, after which the earth is cleansed and reborn into the Satyuga age of truth. One line says, "The skies will rain fire, kings will betray, and brother will turn against brother." This chilling imagery aligns with what we fear most about a global war: betrayal, firestorms, the collapse of humanity's social fabric. Ancient Chinese texts, and even Native American prophecies mention a final conflict between the nations of the earth, often involving metal birds and fire from the heavens. Are these symbolic phrases, or did these seers have visions of fighter jets and missile strikes? The Hopi people of North America speak of 3 great shakings of the earth, the first 2 interpreted as World War I and II, the third yet to come, potentially involving a gourd of ashes that will fall from the sky and destroy everything it touches. Many believe this refers to nuclear bombs. Even political leaders have joined the prophetic chorus. Winston Churchill once said, "The Stone Age may return on the gleaming wings of science," warning of the dangers of modern warfare. Einstein famously remarked, "I know not with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones," suggesting that humanity may regress entirely if another global war breaks out in our modern era. Some of the most alarming prophecies come not from mystics, but from data analysts, military think tanks, and AI futurists. They warn of how rapidly a third world war could begin, not necessarily through direct military confrontation, but by accident. One cyber attack, one drone strike, one AI-controlled defense system malfunction. With tensions high between NATO and Russia, the US and China, India and Pakistan, Iran and Israel, the possibility of a chain reaction is terrifyingly real. Even Hollywood has unintentionally contributed to the prophetic landscape. Films like The Terminator, War Games, and Dr. Strangelove weren't just entertainment. They were warnings, disguised in fiction. Many of these works echo old prophecies in new ways, making one wonder whether the storytellers of today are the prophets of our time. Let's not ignore modern geopolitics. The global political map looks uncomfortably similar to the pre-WWI period. Rising nationalism, military buildups, ideological extremism, and volatile leadership are just some of the elements that caused past world wars. The Ukraine war has already pitted Russia against the West, in a way not seen since the Cold War. China's rise is seen as a direct challenge to U.S. hegemony, and their increasingly assertive stance over Taiwan is setting the stage for confrontation. Add to this the growing scarcity of natural resources, particularly fresh water and clean energy, and it becomes clear that future wars may not even be about land or ideology. They may be about survival. Climate migration is expected to displace millions, perhaps hundreds of millions. Where will these people go? And what if nations close their borders? What happens when desperation meets nationalism? Prophecies have often mentioned a great war followed by a period of peace. But what will be the cost of that peace? Will it come after unimaginable destruction? Or can humanity use these warnings as a chance to avoid the disaster? Interestingly, some spiritual thinkers believe the very act of prophecy is not to predict, but to prevent. By knowing what could happen, we might make better choices. That's why these warnings, whether from holy books, ancient seers, or modern science, should be taken seriously, not with panic, but with caution. It's also important to recognize that many prophecies are conditional. In religious texts, the worst outcomes often occur only if humanity fails to change. That gives us hope. It means we're not locked into a tragic destiny. We still have agency. We still have the power to choose peace over conflict, understanding over suspicion, and cooperation over aggression. In the end, whether you believe in prophecy or not, one truth stands clear. The world is at a crossroads. We are facing environmental collapse, political polarization, and technological risks like never before. If there's ever been a time to reflect on the warnings of the past, it is now. The choice is ours. Prophecies don't exist to scare us. They exist to warn us. Across every culture, every scripture, and every mystical vision, the message is clear. If humanity does not change its course, disaster awaits. But with that disaster also comes an opportunity to reset. World War III, as foreseen by mystics, religious texts, and thinkers, doesn't have to happen. These visions were not absolute certainties. They were conditional outcomes based on the direction humanity chooses. Right now, we stand on the edge. Technology could bring either destruction or salvation. Politics could lead to war or reconciliation. Religion could inspire either hate or hope. The final war, if it comes, won't just be fought with bombs or missiles. It will be a war of ideologies, of digital influence, of economic survival. And perhaps most importantly, it will be a war within ourselves, between fear and wisdom. In every prophecy, after the fire comes the light. After the war comes peace. Peace can either come through unimaginable laws or through collective awakening. The choice is ours. Maybe the true purpose of these age-old prophecies isn't to predict doom, but to inspire change before it's too late.